This is Paralegal 101, and we're studying Chapter 4, which is a chapter that deals with ethics that applies both to paralegals and to attorneys. And these students have already done independent outside study and are now going to start class discussion on different topics that they covered within the chapter. And the floor is open, whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Came across the question towards the beginning of the chapter. Does the state of Alabama follow the model code of professional responsibility, or has it adopted its own laws about ethical rules for paralegals? Which the answer is not in the book, which was why I had the question. The book suggested the question, but for me, the text answers most of the questions. So I was kind of at a slight for, did anybody by any chance look up and see?
I researched some of it, and from what I read, they do practice some of it. I wasn't sure if they practice all of it, but I know they've adopted some of the rules from that.
From what? I didn't hear the first part of what you
From
said.
the research, because I just Googled it
Okay.
to find out the answer, and from what I read, and it was like 3 different sites, it says that they practice some of it. I couldn't find anything where it said that they practiced everything about it, but I knew they had adopted some of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Be sure to pull your cards away if you ask a question and if you respond. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Did anybody else find the answer to that or any more information? No? Okay. So that's something I guess we need to look further into then. Okay. All right.
Why shouldn't all the states require paralegals to be licensed? Nurses and all that stuff, they require a license. Being a paralegal is I would think, same thing pretty much, just in a different field. Why wouldn't they all have to be certified or licensed?
I was curious about that and found towards the end of the text this morning, because I was looking over some things, because this ethical stuff, I agree, I think is the most important thing of what we're all trying to do here. But the book had a good point in that attorneys know more than anybody what they need from a paralegal, and they should be able to promote from wherever they see these talents. You know, it's stated in the book so that an attorney can bring up a paralegal. And I really agree with that notion, because you may be doing something. I know a lady that works in Aniana, and she, kind of was pretty much like a office secretary for one starting attorney years ago, and now she does all the work in there because, like you said the other day, he was able to really hone her talents towards what he needed. And so he was able to bring her up on his own. She doesn't have any formal education, but she's, incredibly experienced and has a lot of knowledge. So I agreed with that idea. As far as licensing goes, maybe if there was a way to license someone like her without the formal education based on knowledge, then it would be more like a LPN thing.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Another thing is that it's a relatively new profession, because there weren't courses, education for it until like the 1960s. So that, plus there's multiple, associations for paralegals. There's not just one, like the American Bar Association, and then there's, the other ones, but that's the main one. Like there's not like just one association for paralegals that, they all have different opinions on what should be done and how they should license them. So, they really don't know what to do.
The licensing seems to be to promote your career versus a requirement.
But you're required to take courses now. You can't not really practice, but you can't get a job in paralegal unless you have a ton of experience before they started doing these courses. You can't get a job doing that unless you take these courses now. So really, that is, it's not a license, but you get, a degree. So it's kind of the same.